All right. Well,
Whoa.
my solution is clearly right there, but what is the problem? All right. So we had to come up with a problem that's a global problem and a solution. Well, my global problem was catheter sanitation, and my solution was to make a website called Clean Kid, which basically I just took clean kidney and rearranged the kidney part. And why is it a global problem? Well, not really everybody has access to information to keep their catheter clean, or really just, yeah. Other solutions are other websites and doctors. Other websites, you couldn't really find all the specific information you needed, and if you did find a specific part of information that you needed, you wouldn't have the rest, and then you would keep on trying to find other types of information, which is pretty hard to find. Honestly, whenever I was trying to do my research, I had to go to multiple websites just to find a part of my information to verify that the treatment I did on my brother, which I will explain later, actually worked and was still advanced, I guess. And doctors, not really everybody has technically access to a doctor. Like lower developed countries, they would have to pay for an appointment, and they really don't have any time for that or money for that. Like in Mexico, for a doctor to come to you, that's a lot of money, which is why a lot of people are really going towards the medical field. And you might not get the right information, which will affect how much money you spent on it. So my solution, can I click?
You can.
All right.
You'll have to look over there.
Okay. All right. So basically, the reason why I made Knee Clean Kid is because my little brother has CKD, which is chronic kidney disease, and for him, he had to go through dialysis for 4 years, and throughout those 4 years, he's actually been hospitalized about 4 times a year because his catheter wasn't really clean. Even though my mom would do really anything to keep it clean, she would clean it every day. But I guess that wasn't really enough because there are infections that go around in the air that you're not really aware of. And so, yeah, that's pretty much why I picked this topic. So yeah, that's the home screen. Basically tells you what it is. And then, if you didn't already know what kidney failure was, this informs you so you'll know exactly why this is a thing, why it's important, and yeah. And it tells you different things like how could you prevent it, or maybe lower your chances of getting to stage 5 of chronic kidney disease, because there are stages, and this is, yeah, what you could do to prevent it. It tells you what kidney failure is, and ignore that. I couldn't figure out how to change what that says, but okay. It also tells you how it's caused, and what it affects, because chronic kidney disease does not just affect your kidneys. Obviously, it can also affect your blood pressure and your chances, not really chances of getting diabetes, but your having diabetes enhances your chances of getting CKD. And then this is my graph, and I found the, I guess, equation to it, which is really not consistent because all the points on here don't really follow it. But anyways, this graph clearly shows that it's MDC and LDCs throughout the years 1995 and 2010, I believe, and this is in millions. And in more developed countries, it's way down here, but it is slowly increasing. And in lower developed countries, it's already increased, but it is really staying the same. I haven't done research on why that is. Alright, well, dialysis, there's really two types you could do, which is where it's a machine and you just get hooked up to it, and it does what a normal kidney does, or there's another one, which is called hemodialysis. Oh, the first one's called I can't really say that, but it's peritoneal. And that's what my brother did. It was a machine and it had the dialysis solution, and that dialysis solution would go into his kidneys, clean out his blood, I believe. And then after that, the waste that would come from that, it would go through the draining tubes and into the drainage bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this one, it actually cleans your blood, so it takes your blood out. It goes through a filter, through fiber-like strings, and then all the waste is pushed into a solution, which is basically the dialysis solution, and that goes into the waste. But then the clean blood goes back into your system, but you would have to get like a tube transplanted into your veins that would get your blood out and then in. And for the peritoneal dialysis, you would have to have a catheter transplanted into your belly, and that's what would have access into your kidneys for the dialysis to take place. And then this like actual sanitation, it takes you step by step on what you would have to do to have the cleanest way possible having your catheter. And these are the things you need. So this tells you how you would clean it, or how you would clean it and how to clean your hands, basically, because a large part of the infections come from your hands. And even if you wash your hands, put gloves on, you would have to put hand sanitizer, which my mom didn't really do a lot because she thought just using gloves would work, but it wouldn't really work because you'd still get an infection, which is why she started using hand sanitizer. And then, so there are three major things you would have to need for the sanitation part, which is chlorhexidine soap. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's ointment. And then sterile solution. Alright, so the process you would have to do would be you would have to wipe down the surrounding skin around the catheter with the sterile solution, and then you would have to take the chlorhexidine soap, and then you would clean it around, like clean the surface, and then clean some of the catheter also. And if there is like swelling or crusting around the exit hole where the catheter comes out, you would apply this ointment so it could go away.
Is that your science?
Yeah, that's my science. So this goes more into that depth. How do you?
Just kind of play with the towel and kind of scoot it over to the left. Like at the top.
Why
did
did
you,
you
like, full
screen it?
Okay, yeah, click show presentation. There you go.
Okay. Well, this is my chemistry part. This is basically sanitation and the actual dialysis. And this shows what the dialysis solution is made out of, which is all that. And it's actually neutral. the pH is neutral, and all of these are it's the ointment, the soap, and the water that's used to rinse it. And it tells you what it's made out of. It shows you right here. And it also tells you the pH and the acidity. But the chlorhexidine, which is the soap, is actually neutral, but the water is actually acidic, which is why it's used for sanitation. So basically, it's just salt water, but it is sterilized. Yeah, and so it's non-pyrogenic, which causes it to be antibacterial, and that's why it's used, so it can prevent infections instead of using regular water.
Right across the skate.
So why is mine better? It's easily accessible to really anyone, but I'm still trying to figure out how to turn it into other languages, so really everybody could actually use it. It's easy to read, pretty straightforward. It's not very wordy like other websites, and you can get easy access to the actual sanitation part. And there's also additional information. Sorry, try to scoot it over. Okay, so there's actually additional information. So like the first section, it showed you ways to prevent it, what it actually is, and other things. Alright. So connecting it to STEM was basically shown in the website. The chemistry infographic is in it to really explain why each of those are used and like what it's made out of. And yeah. Okay, for human geography, this really connects with population, because really anyone in the world could get CKD and go through dialysis, but not everybody has access for insurance to get it. And this really connects with my graph because it shows how people around the world get CKD, and but it shows a really developed country and a non-developed country. The developed country I used was the US, and then the lower developed country I used was Africa. And that's my graph. Those are my points. This was the exact same graph that was in my website. And these are the equations. But really the one for the US was more consistent because it keeps on going up, which isn't a really good thing. But the one for Africa is, it connects the first 2 points right here, but it does stay the same, so really not that consistent. Alright, for my English, I did a research paper really explaining what my problem was, what my solution was, what other potential solutions are, and I iterated it also, and one of my iterations was to add a more, not really aesthetic, but more pleasing way to see it. And I added the graph also.